Hello everyone, my name is Dylan Richards and I will be doing my discussion board over Molly Pitcher. So, Molly Pitcher is actually a nickname of a brave woman during the American Revolution, and this story is very important. And but we know there are some facts and there are some fiction to it, kind of like the Betsy Ross story. So we're going to look at this kind of like how Laurel Ulrich did, and we're going to move forward. So first thing that we know is that there was actually a woman that helped on that day, but we're really going to dive into that story first. So this took place at the Battle of Monmouth in the American Revolution in New Jersey, an American claimed victory, might I add. And so Molly, this woman, actually fetched water for artillerymen during this battle. The story goes is that her husband was actually killed in battle, and that she bravely took his place on the cannon and helped the Continental Army uh, push back the British that day. And that's according to they called her Molly Pitcher by Anne Rockwell. And so another thing about it is that this is like the story that kind of came out of the American Revolution, and it's a really inspiring story on heroism, on and how like women played this big role in this big event, this battle, and that was uncommon for that time. So the story really grew with popularity and made its way into American culture for that time. And we do know that this actually took place as fact due to an account by Joseph Plum Martin. And he was actually a soldier that gave an account on a woman that was uh, running the cannons that day at the Battle of Monmouth. Now, here's where things begin to get hazy. Nobody knows exactly who Molly Pitcher is. Due to recent scholarship, we can actually infer that it was somebody. There's a lot of arrows that are pointing to different people, but a lot of them point to a woman by the name of Mary L. Hayes. Mary L. Hayes fits the description of Molly Pitcher. She is actually a part of a group of women led by Martha Washington that helped out soldiers in that same regiment at Valley Forge. Molly or Mary L. Hayes's husband was enlisted in the army at that time, and she was actually at the battle. Now, according to The Real Pennsylvania Dutch and Molly Pitcher by Robert Goodyear, uh, Mary L. Hayes's husband was actually not killed in battle. So that's a really important thing too. That's actually documented. Her husband lived after this battle, and they went back to Carlisle, Pennsylvania, to live together. But he was not killed in this battle. But the story goes from this standpoint is that her husband was unable to fight due to either heat exhaustion or some type of injury. And then she took over the cannon, uh, ran some artillery with the Continental Army and helped them win. Uh, but now what we do know is actually she went by Sergeant Molly following the battle, and we also know something else that points to this is that Molly was a common nickname for Mary back during this time. And so that's very important, and that's also according to the Real Pennsylvania Dutch and Molly Pitcher. Now, here's another interesting thing that I find super interesting, and how people actually latched on to this Mary L. Hayes actually being Molly Pitcher. Uh, the burial site for Mary L. Hayes is in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, at the old graveyard, uh, and that is according to the Cumberland Valley Visitors Bureau. There is a statue of Molly Pitcher with it's like a memorial, like a statue, and it's right beside Mary L. Hayes's grave. So therefore, historians, people of that time, whenever she was buried and whenever that statue was placed there, look at her as actually Molly Pitcher, and so that's where that connection's made. Uh, Shortly here, quickly here, I'm going to make a quick connection. Betsy Ross and Molly Pitcher are kind of the same. They're both iconic women during the American Revolution. I'm kind of connecting it to Ulrich's way of thinking here. People went with their legacy, not real fully knowing the truth, which was very important. Both of them are very similar in that aspect. And also, uh, not all the information is even known to this day. There's a lot of speculation, a lot of debate, but that's what makes it super important, and that's what makes this a really good story that the American people latched onto. That was a story of heroism and women empowerment and everything. So I really think it was a great topic to cover, and I had a lot of fun learning.